Here's what's making news now around Indiana, brought to you by your Indiana Pacers. Well, Elkhart-based Great Lakes Forest Products plans to invest $7 million and launch a new sister company in Bristol. Great Lakes Lamination could employ 100 new workers by the end of 2022. The new company expected to begin producing laminated wood panels for the RV industry this summer. Hobart Mayor Brent Snedeker this week announced a $60 million equipment addition and expansion by iconic candy company Albanese. Our partners at the Times of Northwest Indiana report the creator of the, quote, world's best gummies is looking to build 2 new production lines in its Northwest Indiana facility and have room for additional lines. And 2 Ease Winery in Huntington has broken ground on a 7,000 square foot expansion. The new building is slated to be complete by the summer and will include larger facilities for winemaking and a new private event space. The winery hopes to add wine tours and a new customer experience as well. Hate crimes legislation continues to be one of the hottest issues of this year's legislative session. The Indiana House this week passed an amendment involving specific hate crimes protections, but some argue it's not inclusive enough. A new 2-year state budget is also in the spotlight. And here now with some perspective is Indiana Chamber of Commerce President Kevin Brinegar. As always, Kevin, welcome.
Kerry, good to see you.
All right, let's talk about the bias crimes, hate crimes legislation. There was an amendment put in this week to add protections, but some suggest it doesn't go far enough?
Yeah, it's not all that we would like in terms of being specific on the protected categories, but it does have some what we call general language that says the judge can enhance a sentence for a hate crime against anybody based on their characteristic, their trait, their religion, etc. And it's believed that that would, by the authors and by Speaker Bosman, that would cover anybody and everybody. You know, we and the governor would like to see a longer enumerated list that would include age, gender, and gender identity. But it appears that what we have is as far in that direction as the House could go and still pass a bill. It now goes to the Senate, where the Senate author will have to decide, does he want to try to amend it further and take it to conference committee or file a concurrence motion. The word in the hallway is that they're likely to file a concurrence motion and perhaps vote on this bill as early as next week.
I'll keep an eye on that. Big news in the technology front in terms of a number of kind of tax-related bills, yes. Data center legislation, VC tax credit that are moving along.
Yes, there's a couple of really good bills for the technology and entrepreneur community. One is a bill that would allow incentives for data centers. They wouldn't have to pay sales tax on the equipment, and they could get a property tax exemption with a certification from IEDC. This could be a big boon for data centers here in Indiana. And then the governor's economic development bill modernizes several of our existing economic development incentives and would make the venture capital tax credit transferable, which makes it much more valuable and allows Indiana startups to attract investment from out of state much better.
A lot of interest in teacher pay as it relates to the budget. Where do things stand there?
Well, the Senate is now working on its version of the budget, the Senate Majority Caucus. We expect to see that revealed next week or certainly the week after, because that'll be the deadline week. And there will be some changes. They'll put their stamp on that. The other key variable in this budget equation is the mid-April revenue forecast update. And if, depending on whether that goes up or down or stays about the same, that'll impact what they put together in the conference committee report. I don't expect big changes in the key area of teacher pay because frankly, they just don't have the money to put into that. I know Senator Mitchell is trying to find some savings in DCS and some other places that could possibly put in there, but I don't see big changes right now.
Very quickly, back on that data center bill, I heard some people talking about the abatement and how the length of abatements that could happen. But to get those lengthy abatements, companies would have to invest a pretty big number. A
massive amount. I believe the number is $750 million to get that very lengthy 50-year abatement.
All right, Kevin Brinegar is also some great perspective on activities at the Indiana Statehouse. I'm sure we'll have you on again very soon to talk about what's next.
Yes, indeed.
All right.